From the border where two nations meet, where water roars with a voice older than time itself, we are here in Niagara Falls. Today, mist rises like breath from the earth as the mighty Niagara plunges with purpose, relentless and roaring, a force of nature matched by only the passion of the fans we find nearby. These fans have been waiting over 10 months, but finally, Niagara Falls Americans baseball is back at Sal Magley Stadium. Today, the Americans welcome in a brand new team from the Canadian side of the Falls. They began a summer-long battle to answer a burning question: which side of the Falls reigns supreme in the sport of baseball? It's the Americans. It's the Ironbacks. It's two of the most locally built teams in the PGCBL right here on the Americans Baseball Network.
Way out of here!
My apologies for the sound difficulties on the video. Got it in at the end there. But welcome to the Niagara Falls Americans home opener here against the Niagara Ironbacks. It's the day all these fans have been waiting for. This house is packed, and we are going to get started in just a few here. We've got the Grand Island Dancers on the field now, but first, we'll introduce ourselves here on the broadcast. I'm Andrew Roberts. If you haven't tuned in yet, I'll be your play-by-play broadcaster for the entire season, and tonight I'll be introducing our color commentator who will be here for every home game. It's Avery Vogt. Avery, how you doing today?
You know, Andrew, it's been a long time waiting for these games, and we got a full crowd tonight. It's a beautiful day out. Where else would you rather be here for American baseball?
I mean, absolutely. It is just a beautiful day here. I don't think it could be a nicer day for baseball than it is here today. And, I mean, these fans have been waiting for so long to get a day like this. They've lucked out. There's going to be fireworks after the game, lots of schools here in the crowd. And we've got a good product on the field as well. Both of these teams, I mean, drawing in the locals because so many of these guys grew up in this area, whether it was the Ironbacks on the Canadian side or the Americans here at your local high schools. You got Niagara Falls High School. Their band is here. And there are some players on the Americans that are not too far from this area. I mean, Matt Barr and Dalton Harper, not right in Niagara Falls, but grew up just a few towns over. Matt Barr, an MLB draft prospect, and alongside Dalton, he just came back from a tryout with the Angels. He will be pitching after the combine, so tonight going to be another starter on the mound, but there's been a lot of hype here for Matt Barr kicking off his 2025 PGCBL season here with the Americans.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got such a guy like this on the mound, you just know he's going to be a star one day. And, you know, with his season down in JUCO with NCCC, the really great season they had, they went undefeated the whole season besides the finals. But, I mean, they're a really strong team, and we've got some of their players on this roster, so we're going to have a really strong season this year.
Yeah, and the newest development, there's a new coach that was brought on to the Niagara Falls Americans staff. In addition to Coach Paul Wolf, he will co-manage this team with Will Cordero, a former Major League Baseball player. He played for 14 years. And we've got Yankee Doodle Dan down on the field, our in-arena host for the entire season, all geared up in red, white, and blue alongside our mascot, Apollo. It's going to be an exciting show for the fans here at the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, especially with this new coach, when you played 14 seasons in the MLB, you know how to play baseball. You know how to manage your team, and I just think it's going to be a lot better for these players. They're going to develop and be a lot better ball players. Yeah,
definitely. And ever since his retirement in 2005, he has been coaching baseball. This is what he does these days. And It's going to be very exciting to see what that can do for the Americans, who are already undefeated on the season, won their first game on the road in Batavia. We had all the action here on the Americans Baseball Network. And, yeah, it was a great win, 10-8 win. The bats were going, and a lot of those same bats are going to be back in the lineup today. We'll get to that in just a few moments here.
Yeah, I mean, when you're leading off Ian Wang, he's batting 800, especially after that game. You know, it's your first game, especially on the road. But with all these new guys coming together, coming from different colleges, different places, and just coming together for a win is a great start to the season, and hopefully will even better overall season this year.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of those wins and losses, let's take a look at the PGCBL standings so far this season. So the Americans aren't the only undefeated team. The Pilots are 2-0. The Double Days tied with the Americans at 1-0. Tarp Skunks are 3-1. The Americans will see them on Sunday as well as Tuesday. A little home-and-home action there. Muck Dogs down to 2-2 after losing to Niagara Falls on Wednesday. Ironbacks are 0-1, opened up their season against Jamestown yesterday. And the Pioneers and Red Wings also winless, 0-2, 0-3. So, Avery, last year, it was the Double Days, Tarp Skunks, Muck Dogs, and Pioneers in the playoffs. And I think it's pretty likely we're going to see at least one new team in this playoff field, whether it be the Americans or somebody else.
I mean, yeah, especially with this new season, you got to be hopeful for the Americans. Missing the playoffs by one game last year, that's a strong start, especially for a new team. I mean, with new guys, new players, a whole new facility. You have these guys coming out and playing, and with an even new season with different players, you got to be hopeful that they will make the playoffs this year.
Yeah, and as you alluded to, Ian Wang has been one of the studs so far. He went 4 for 5 in the season opener. He had a leadoff double to start that 7-run rally in the third inning that we went all the way through. That top of the third inning just completely set the tone for these Americans, not only in that game, but arguably also for the entire season.
Yeah, I mean, when you got a guy like him leading off, he's a switch hitter. He's hitting both sides of the ball, no matter who's throwing at him. He's going to hit that ball, and I mean, the rest of the lineup, you got a lot of depth, so maybe they can keep it up and just keep winning.
And he was of especially high value on Wednesday because you had a switch pitcher in for the Muck Dogs. Walker Gleishaw, the starting pitcher, pitches from both sides of the diamond, and in most situations, he's going to pitch to the side where the batter is standing, those right on right, left on left matchups. But Wang being a switch hitter, how it goes, the pitcher has to decide his side to pitch from first. And then after that, Ian Wang decides to bat lefty to go up against the righty pitching Gleishaw in that situation. And that was the only opposite-handed matchup for the bats the entire night. So, I mean, that was a huge advantage.
Yeah, that's a big benefactor. I mean, it's very rare to see a pitcher to switch hands like that, and it's very few that they're very good. But I mean,
yeah,
when you got Ian Wang just switch hitting against him, it throws him off, and keep hitting the ball,
yeah,
and keep it going.
You got a young Pat Venditte out there, and the Americans still tearing him apart. Kind of crazy. It shows how much talent this team has, and as I mentioned earlier, Dalton Harper not even available for that game. He'll play tonight. Be behind the dish for the Americans, and he was one of the staples on last year's team. A 269 hitter, 765 OPS, no bombs, but 17 RBIs, and a good friend of Matt Barr. I definitely suspect that he will be catching every game that Barr pitches for this team after the Combine.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, when you have him batting second in the lineup, catchers usually don't bat the high, but with him, he's a really good hitter. Especially this year when he was playing at End Trip this year, batting 453 is very, very, very good. Especially in a game where you're not really most likely going to hit the ball, but 453 is almost 500. That's a very good stat to put up.
Yeah, and I mean he is one of 4 returning hitters in this Americans lineup. 3 of them are in it tonight. Harper, Graydon Miller, and Jake Collins. We'll get you the full lineup in the bottom of the first when the Americans come up to bat. But, I mean, yeah, the only one missing from this lineup is Gavin Boyle. And, I mean, he's going to be out a couple of weeks here, just resting up after his long SUNY Niagara season, but hoping to get 100-plus at-bats in this summer. So Gavin Boyle going to be a key piece of this team once he's back.
Yeah, I mean, even without him, though, this team started off very strong, and hopefully they can keep going. And when they add him back to the lineup, it just brings more runs, more hits, and more everything.
Yeah, definitely. There's going to be a lot of excitement for that. And we are going to take a look here at the lineup for the Niagara Ironbacks as we get ready to get underway in this top of the first after these opening ceremonies right here. So leading off is going to be Carter Shin, went 1 for 4 in the season opener for the Ironbacks. Alex Keene, the Moorhead State star, a 300 hitter over there, and so far a 300 hitter here in Niagara. Brock Granger batting third. Played in the same program as one of our interns, Teddy Yo. He'll be singing the Canadian national anthem tonight. Connor Gayton's the cleanup hitter. He will catch. He's a perfect 2 for 2 with 2 walks so far. Marcus Butts bats fifth, still looking for his first hit, as well as Keanu Cali, the 6th hitter in center field. Devin Medor making his Ironbacks debut. He'll play second. Jaxar Curry almost signed with the Americans, then flipped over to the Ironbacks. He'll bat 8th. Chase Hubble batting 9th, and he is in left. And then Nolan Phelan, the extra hitter, will bat 10th. So this Ironbacks lineup, definitely a lot of upside, but they were not able to execute as much as they would have wanted to last night, falling short 7-4 to the Jamestown Tarp Skunks.
I mean, yeah, when you have a new team like that, it's always a weird start for the team, but I mean, they got 10 guys batting today, so hopefully they can bring out a stronger start. But, I mean, I see the Americans beating them in this game. So.
Yeah, the Americans, it's a little unique for this league, actually. I mean, across baseball, 9 batters is the norm, but in the PGCBL, you'll see a lot of 10-batter lineups. And here for the Americans tonight, it'll be 9 batters. So that's what they've been doing so far. Coach Wolf stuck with 9 after the 9 batters in the season opener, but yeah, it's going to be 10 batters for these Niagara Ironbacks tonight. And, I mean, when I look at this lineup, I feel like Keene and Gayton's are really the 2 key factors for these Ironbacks here. If they can get to the Americans pitching, the Ironbacks will be in some good shape because, I mean, Gayton's a great player over at his junior college, and he's off to a great start here. And then Alex Keene, I mean, he can say something not many PGCBL players can say, and that's that he is an absolute superstar up in Division I at Moorhead State. So that's been very impressive to see. We'll see if that mirrors his success here.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're batting 13 home runs and 38 runs batted in. I mean, especially at D1 level, you're playing against top guys, and you're playing against ball players who just know what they're doing, and just to hit like that, it's going to be a thing to watch out here for today.
Yeah, definitely. But right now, down on the field, we have a meeting between our umps tonight as well as the 2 managers, Paul Wolf for the Americans and Richard Griffin for the Ironbacks. Griffin will be joined by Michael Nightingale, the pitching coach on the Niagara staff, and Paul Wolf will be co-managing with Will Cordero, as we mentioned earlier. So all new managers for both teams. I mean, the Americans finding someone new for this season, but the Ironbacks, as I mentioned earlier, their first season in existence, so they built this up from scratch. Only got to 27 players compared to the rest of the league, which is averaging around 36 to the maximum 40 players. And I mean, to build this up from scratch, to have all new players, all new coaches, all new staff, it's very impressive to see what they've been able to do in just 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, especially, too, like you mentioned, they have 27 guys. Some days, some guys are going to get hurt. They're going to be down a couple guys. Just to have a little less players than the rest of these teams, it's going to be hard to battle. But, I mean, hopefully we can see them battle in and keep playing and win some games.
Yeah, and you have to wonder who's going to be starting games for these Ironbacks on the mound. Really, the 2 main pitchers they've had with college starting experience have been Hunter Ballantyne and Ethan Wolf. Wolf started last night against the Tarp Skunks. He went 3 1/3 innings and picked up the loss there. Aiden Bray took over for him, pitched another 3. So they clearly do have some other guys who can go long innings, but a lot of guys are going to be adjusting to new roles. And tonight's starter we'll introduce a little later, but in full. But Jaden Corpin, this is really going to be a new experience for him. Did not have much. Yeah, he only had 2 starts at Erie Community College compared in his 12 appearances, so fairly new to starting baseball games.
Yeah, and especially with an 8 ERA, you got to keep those numbers down, but I mean, you just got to adjust. It's baseball. Everything's different, and you just got to get used to what you're doing. Maybe go longer innings than you thought. Maybe go a little less. You just got to adjust.
Yeah, we'll see if those adjustments show in tonight's game, as the Ironbacks, as that we introduced earlier, are now welcomed onto the field.
Yeah, it's a new season. You gotta be ready. Everyone's going out to the field, just taking it all in, taking all the fans. New day for baseball.
Yeah, here comes the cleanup hitter and catcher Connor Gatens, who we mentioned earlier, is going to be a key factor in this Americans lineup.
And like you mentioned, with a new team, you got a catcher. You gotta keep your pitchers in control. Make sure they're doing what they need to do, and keep the rest of the roster in order to keep this game going.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're going to have to see what the Ironbacks are able to get out of this bottom half of the lineup. I mean, not a lot of guys with that much college experience here, but, I mean, Jack Sarkuri could be a standout. He has a .333 batting average so far with the Ironbacks, similar .320 over at Jamestown Community College. One of his teammates actually over on the American side of this game, Dylan Treadway, he won't be starting tonight, but a little bit of a reunion between some of the Ironbacks players, some of the Americans. You also saw Bryce Bedrosian, one of the bench players for the Ironbacks. He was going out to greet Nolan Jackson, the one of the few Canadians on the Americans roster. So a lot of familiar faces here tonight.
Yeah, and now we got the team coming out, carrying the flags. The fans are just taking us all in for this opening night.
Yeah, the Niagara Falls Americans. We will actually show their lineup right now while we have the time here. Leading off is going to be Ian Huang for the second time. Once again, Dalton Harper will be doing the catching, coming back after a number of games behind the plate last year. Graydon Miller batting third and playing first base. He's batting .250 so far on the season. Shane Prey will play third. He pinch hit last game, now playing third. Paul Delanto will DH. He's normally behind the plate, but in the DH slot today. Grant Moore, the lefty, in left field for the second straight game. Evan Core will make his Americans debut and play right. Chris Gazaldo shifting over to shortstop will bat eighth. He went 2 for 5 in his Americans debut. And Jake Hollins, the second-year returnee, will round out this lineup, the number 9 hole, and play center field. Hollins has got some speed on him, so good to have that at the end of the lineup.
Yeah, especially with these other guys, too, like Grant Moore and Chris Gazaldo. You guys got guys batting 500 and 400. I mean, especially in the bottom of the lineup. You got guys hitting, so you can keep the runs coming and keep this game with a higher score.
Yeah, so Avery, you saw Ian Wang have his huge game in game one. Who are you looking for as a potential breakout candidate or bounce back candidate from last season in tonight's game?
I mean, standing out to me is Dalton Harper. I mean, he played last year. He's coming back again. He's going to be a stud this year, I think, especially batting second in the lineup. You got to hit the ball. You got to keep it going. And I think he's going to have a great day today, especially in his first game this year with the Americans.
Yeah, and I mean, he has really bulked up headed into the season. Well, lost some weight first and then built up some muscle. So he is in great shape headed into the season.
Yeah, especially with that new muscle. Maybe, send a couple balls over the wall, get some Johnny Ryan for him.
Yeah, I mean, first lost about 20, 30 pounds and then gained some muscle. I mean, yeah, hopefully some home run power coming this year because, yeah, Johnny Ryan will be providing a case of drinks to any American who hits a home run this season. Free cases of soda. So we'll see if that happens anytime today.
I mean, yeah, starting the game off with a home run would be a great start this season, especially when you have Ian Wang starting off. Like you said, he's just been a great hitter. And playing over at Niagara, he's just a great hitter. He's going to keep it going starting off this game today, so we'll see how that starts out.
Yeah, for sure. And the rest of the Americans. And now the bench players coming out. A lot of talent on this team. And you'll notice it's built very locally. You have, as I mentioned in the first broadcast, about 9 SUNY Niagara players. Matt Barr coming out to the field right now, the stud from SUNY Niagara this past year. Did transfer to Tennessee, but likely will be drafted before then. You have a handful of Niagara University guys, and then Jake Hollins over at the Uville both SUNY Niagara and DUville play at the stadium during the spring, so a lot of familiarity with the barbershop, as they call it here at Sal Magley.
Yeah, I mean, especially with these local guys, you know this area, you know this ballpark. I think it's gonna bring a lot of, an edge with these players against these other teams. But then, kind of a shock, we have a lot of guys from other different places. We got some guys from Texas, we got some guys from Florida. I mean, you got some new guys here from places that aren't particularly close to here, but
Yeah.
hopefully they can adjust quickly and get these bats going.
The biggest crop of players from a non-local college come from Panola College in Texas. There are 4 current Panola players and 1 incoming Panola player on this Americans roster. The interesting thing, if you look over to the Ironbacks lineup, Brock Granger is over at Panola College himself, so a little bit of a reunion for him. We were talking about reunions with his teammates over in college. A lot of them on the other side of the diamond here, but Brock Granger comes from Canada originally, so fits in right at home with this Ironback squad.
Yeah, I mean, I would think with a lot of these guys playing in local towns, playing in places they're from, it just kind of brings more of a sense to you, playing with the fans, just everyone in the background you got around here.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a matchup we're going to be seeing throughout the season. Mentioned which side of the Falls is better at baseball at the start of the game, but it's going to be a handful of 12 total matchups between these teams this season. A handful of them will be here at Sal Magley, and a handful of them starting with tomorrow's game will be over at George Taylor Field in St. Catharines, Ontario, just a little bit out of the Ontario side of Niagara Falls. So you're going to see games on both sides of the Falls between these two squads this season. Very frequently, a new rivalry that will likely be formed.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very cool team that they had, especially in Canada. Especially, you got a lot of teams here in New York. You got a new team in Canada. It's kind of like expanding the league. I like the idea. I like this team, We'll see what they got this year.
Yeah, and you can really see just how many Americans are on the field. This Ironbacks team, just about 27 players. The Americans have a full 40, so that depth is going to come into play here tonight. I mean, you don't have 40 on any MLB roster, so the Americans are going to use that depth.
Yeah, especially when you got a lot of guys, maybe one day some of the guys take off, some other days just keep the guys going. I mean, when you have enough guys to just basically rebuild a whole new lineup the next day, you're going to have guys going some games, taking off, but with these many guys, I think the Americans go very far this year.
Yeah, but nonetheless, the Americans certainly are finding some guys in this lineup who they can lean on consistently, like Ian Wang, like the returnees, like Grant Moore is starting to become. He was a great player over at Mount Vernon Nazarene University and already a 500 hitter here in Niagara Falls. He's been a great energy in the locker room as well. He's just fit right in with this team, even though he's all the way from the south. And it's been great to see him blend right in.
Yeah, I mean, especially in that first day when all the players came together, just meeting each other, checking out the locker rooms. It's just a great experience to see what all these guys are doing, coming together, doing what they love most, playing ball.
And Yankee Doodle Dan welcoming some elementary school students onto the field to sing for our fans in just a moment here.
Hey fans, let's give them a warm welcome. Let's hear it for the students from Charlotte Sidway Elementary School.
So we will start our opening ceremonies here, including the national anthem and some other patriotic songs, as well as the Canadian national anthem, O Canada, will be sung by Teddy O tonight, as we mentioned earlier. We'll take a break and just let you take in these opening ceremonies here at Sal Magley Stadium. Turn the full aux on so they can.
Yeah. The excitement's building.
This is the national anthem?
No, this is Sing of America.
What?
I don't know who was going to say this song.
That's weird. Hey, alright. Dude, I'd be forgetting the words. teacher could always get his distinguished somewhat. Try some kids not like learning the basics right first. How much time we got? We coming off for all the songs and stuff?
Okay.
What?
What did you say?
Are you staying off for all like the national anthems and stuff?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go see my parents real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charlotte Sidway Elementary. That was absolutely fantastic. Take another bow, folks. All right, now that's good. Well, that's going to be a tough act to follow, but before we perform tonight's anthem, Americans fans, please welcome students from Pregame Elementary as they perform a special version of the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's hear it for the kids from Pregame Elementary. Pardon me? Well, Robbie always says, if we don't start on time, who cares? There'll be plenty of games where we'll be taken for substitute. Let's put your hands together for the students from Pregame Elementary for their special version of the Pledge of Allegiance. They're the ones in blue. This is what this league's all about, though. It's pretty cool. It's so funny when the kids meet the players because they think that the American college jumpers are so big and when they're signing and stuff. It's like the kids are like,
We went to the Pregame game a couple days ago, and there was a guy on our team who was like, he was probably like mid 6 foot, 6'5", 6'6", something like that. He was wearing number 99, so he stepped up to the plate and made something. It's like, that's Aaron Josh. Who was that? That guy's pretty huge. 66. It's our pitcher. Started for that.
Filipino?
Yeah. Really? All those pitchers are all our tall guys. Yeah, I don't know if it's just surrounded by those people.
You all do too. The students from Pregame Elementary. Hey fans, at this time we ask you to please stand
See my parents.
and remove your caps. Friends, the Niagara Falls Americans lost a family member, a school educator, a wife, a mother, a grandmother, and the big sister of our owner, Robbie Nichols. This season, the Americans will honor her life by having her name, Deb Shabbat, on the right sleeve of our jerseys. Deb was an amazing woman, a boss lady, and an unforgettable soul. Fans, please join us in a moment of silence in honor of Deb Shabbat. Thank you, fans, and on behalf of the Americans, we wish the entire family that are in our prayers and in our thoughts. Fans, at this time, we ask that you remain standing for the singing of our national anthems. Please welcome the Niagara Falls Americans' very own Teddy Yo for our one and only Canadian intern who will be singing tonight's rendition of O Canada. Take it away, Teddy.
Hey!
Yeah, Teddy!
Outstanding job, Teddy. Thank you very much. And now, fans, we ask that you remain standing and remove your caps, and veterans offer a salute as the kids from Pregame Elementary perform tonight's U.S. national anthem. I think all kids sit civil and do just fine.
And we will bring you back here on the Americans Baseball Network. First pitch coming in just a moment between the Americans and the Ironbacks here at Sal Magley Stadium for the Americans home opener. Andrew Roberts still here alongside Avery Vogt. And we've got some great baseball underway in just a few moments.
Yeah, I mean, especially like I said before, we've been waiting this long for these games. I'm just ready for it to start. I mean, can it start any sooner, Andrew?
Oh, it definitely cannot. But we'll have some ceremonial first pitches coming in just a moment here. And then we'll get the real action going. Luke Blandino set to take the bump for the Americans.
Yeah, we're supposed to have the mayor out here today to throw one of the first pitches.
Yeah, absolutely. Mayor Restaino out here to throw one of the ceremonial first pitches. So hope to see some strikes with those, but especially hope to see some strikes once Luke Blandino takes the bump.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's expecting that bar, but, you're going to have to wait for him. But, I mean, Luke Blandino's going to do just as well today, I think.
Yeah, Matt Barr, as we mentioned earlier, for those of you just joining, will pitch after the MLB Draft Combine from June 17th to 21st. But here tonight in the stadium with the team, been working out with Dalton Harper, who caught many of his games over at SUNY Niagara. Will catch a lot of his games here at Sal Magley Stadium for the Americans. I mean, both teams played at Sal Magley, but
Yeah, this is a very nice day. I'm glad we're playing here this year. Here we go. We got some first pitches going out.
yeah, we got 3 of those students that sang our national anthem throwing first pitches.
Yeah, it's always good to see young kids and getting into the game of baseball. I mean, I wish when I was younger I got into it more, but, I'm glad I'm still watching and entertaining the idea of baseball. I love this game.
Yeah, we have a packed crowd here tonight, and so much of it is made up by the students, the kids of Niagara Falls. So this has really brought this community together. And
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was a shock to me personally to seeing all these fans flooding the gates, coming in, getting their snacks, coming to see these kids play baseball, and it's just a great day for them.
yeah, our mascot Apollo and our in-arena host Yankee Doodle Dan getting plenty of attention pregame. And here comes the mayor for the first pitch. Lucas Feldman will remain behind the plate as the first pitch catcher. He will not start tonight's game, but one of a handful of catchers on this Americans roster. They have no shortage of guys behind the dish.
Yeah, I mean, especially we got, I think, upwards of 5 catchers. I mean, when you're rotating day out of day, you got guys that can catch, so there's no worry about that. So keep the roster going.
Yeah, there were 6 guys working out behind the dish in practice before Dalton Harper even got here. So he'll join Nick Past, Lucas Feldman, Paul Delanto, Robert Wegrin, Ethan Madison, and Toshinari Kurakawa in this catcher unit. A lot of them will be filling in other places. I mean, Shane Prey can catch, but he's playing third tonight.
That just shows that you got a lot of diversity on this team. You got guys who can play multiple spots, can fill in spots. One day maybe some guys not playing, you fill in right for them. A lot of opportunities on this roster.
Yeah, Shane Prey out of Fredonia State has primarily been playing infield since he got here to Sal Magley. Evan Cora, former catcher, playing outfield tonight. But yeah, that was a start for a lot of the guys on this team, and 7 of them, 6 or 7 of them at the very least, likely to be mixing in throughout the summer.
Yes, I mean, when you got that many guys, like you said, but you've got one standing out, Dalton Harper. He's going to be a stud this year, I believe. But that's not going to play down on the other guys. They're going to find their times and spots in this roster and get the bats going and maybe hit some balls out of the park.
Yeah, and no pitcher can do his job without a good catcher. And speaking of pitchers, we're going to introduce the Americans starting pitcher for tonight. It's Luke Blandino, coming back for the 2nd season with the Americans. Last year went 4-3 with a 3.58 ERA and 40 punch-outs. 6 starts, 8 appearances. He comes from WPI, where he's spent his last couple of years of school. So, I mean, love to see someone from the Worcester area. As a Worcester County native myself back in Massachusetts. Luke Blandino on the hill representing WPI, but representing the Americans for the 2nd straight summer.
Yeah, it's always good to see returners. I mean, it just shows how dedicated they are to this club and just how much they love playing here. It just really goes to show what this team can do.
Oh, for sure. And due up for the Ironbacks to start off this game will be Carter Shin, Alex Keene, and Brock Granger. And here comes the first batter at the barbershop this entire American season. It's Carter Shin. The shortstop played last night, went 1 for 4 for the Ironbacks, and now will get in his second game as an Ironback tonight. In the Ironbacks' debut here at Sal Magley, Blandino gets ready to deliver on the first pitch of the game. That is going to be driven into left field, and coming down with the catch is Grant Moore. So a quick out, number 1. Carter Shin goes down on the flyout.
I mean, starting off with the first pitch, you're swinging, and you get one out right away is going to show that maybe Blandino goes the distance this game.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Blandino, I mean, it's hard to go the distance here in the PGCBL, these 9-inning games, but Luke Blandino, a great starting pitcher, should have some good moments tonight. Keene swings and misses on strike 1. And Alex Keene is going to be key for these Ironbacks if they want to get to Blandino tonight. First of all, the left-on-right matchup, Keene should have the edge there. And second of all, just such a great player over at Moorhead State so far here for the Ironbacks. Drives that into right field for the base hit. So Alex Keene, a little bit of foreshadowing, but he's already on base.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great start for the Ironbacks this new season. Second guy getting on base already, and, maybe they'll keep it going.
And here comes Brock Granger, third batter in the lineup for the Ironbacks. Granger, a Toronto Mets alum, a couple years behind our intern Teddy Yo, who sang the Canadian national anthem. Takes that one outside for the ball. So Brock Granger is at Panola College. So a little bit of a rivalry here with some of his own teammates that are on the Americans for the summer.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you got guys playing with from the same team, you're just going to come together, maybe battle it out with each other. See what you guys got. Granger
has taken 2 balls outside. And, yeah, he's going to have some friendly fire here with his Panola teammates. Notably on the field right now is the shortstop, Chris Gazaldo. Grounds that one to first base. They'll try for the out at second. And the double play, it goes. So the double play ball, Brock Granger, that'll retire the side. The Americans will be up after these messages. We'll be right back.
I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah.
Oh,
thanks,
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
We welcome you back for the bottom of the first inning here, and we will give you a reminder of the Niagara Falls Americans lineup for those of you just joining us. It'll be Ian Huang leading us off here, the switch hitter, playing second base. Dalton Harper doing the catching. He's making his 2025 season debut, but he was here in 2024, so second-year player for the Americans. Graydon Miller, same deal. He's playing first for the second game in a row. Was here last year, played a lot of first as well. Shane Prey batting cleanup, playing third. Paul Delanto, the DH, bats fifth. Grant Moore in left will bat sixth. Evan Core, Chris Gazaldo, and Jake Hollins rounding this lineup out. Core, it's his Americans debut. Gazaldo shifting over to short after playing third in the first game of the season. So we'll introduce the Ironbacks starting pitcher. It's Jaden Corpin, 8.42 ERA in 12 appearances, 2 starts over at Erie Community College. But this is a pretty new experience for him starting baseball games.
Yeah, I mean, especially with him. He's a young young guy. He's going to have to get some experience with these games, and it's going to be a tough start, especially with him against the Americans in his first game.
Yeah, definitely. And he has a tough customer to start off the game. It's Ian Wang. The 4-for-5 start to the season in game one. We'll see if he can build on it here. That catches the bottom corner of the strike zone. And it's 0-1 on Ian Wang. Quite the start to the season for Ian Avery.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're going 4-for-5, that just shows how you can hit the ball. You can put the ball in play and show the coaches, hey, I'm gonna be the guy to get someone on base.
Yeah, definitely. And Wang's starting off a lot of innings. The Americans batted around on that top of the third. He came up twice and got 2 hits, so that was very impressive to see. Kept the inning going with 2 outs the second time around. He swings and misses. Down he goes. A 3-strike strikeout. So Jaden Corpin doing what the switch pitcher Walker Glyshaw was never able to do to Ian Wang. Strike 3 on the first batter here as Dalton Harper comes up for the first time this season.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm hoping he gets a hit here.
Yeah, Harper, a great ball player. He was at that Angels workout with Matt Barr and making his return to Sal Magley. Played here in the spring, played here last summer. The 0-1 count on him. High for ball 2 to even it up, or ball 1, excuse me. But on the second pitch of the at-bat, rather. And Harper comes from SUNY Niagara, where many of these guys came from. Swing and miss for strike 2. And what do you think that SUNY Niagara relationship does within the locker room?
I mean, that just brings guys together. You're going to have this chemistry that you've already established, and maybe you can make this roster even better. Yeah, and the clubhouse actually belonged to SUNY Niagara during their season, now belongs to the Americans. As Harper takes ball 2 outside to even up the count once again. Yeah, especially too when you're batting on this field, you know the certain spots in this field. Maybe you can hit it to the right spot and get a hit here. Yeah, pretty even dimensions here at Sal Magley. 325 to right field, 330 to left as Harper fouls that one off behind him into the packed first baseline stands. Some elementary schools renting it out. Yeah, you're lucky to hit a fan there, but hit it out of the stadium. Everyone's all right. Yeah, might be a lucky kid catching the ball, but we've been advertising here at Sal Magley. Those can be exchanged for money. Yeah, I mean, we were told that if they find some good balls, maybe you get some snacks down at the shack. Yeah, the count fills up now on Dalton Harper. So Jaden Corpin with his first full count of the night. The payoff pitch on the way here. Harper will foul that one back behind him. Good way to fall off that ball there. Keep this at bat alive. Payoff pitch on the way. Harper, pop-up, headed towards the first baseman Granger in foul territory. He'll make the catch for out number 2. So, 2 down already here for the Americans. Yeah, now we got Grady Miller coming up here. They had 50 so far in the first game. Hopefully you can get this offense started here this inning. And here comes Graydon Miller after the foul out into the glove of Granger. That one deep into left center field, excuse me, and it'll be a fly out to the center fielder, Callie. We'll be right back after these messages. Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field.
This top of the second inning is brought to you by Bully Hill Vineyards, a great place to grab lunch and taste over 40 different wines. Go to bullyhillvineyards.com for more. So Andrew Roberts back here with Avery Vogt for the top of the second inning. And the Ironbacks will have Connor Gatens, Marcus Butts, and Keanu Cali up to bat in this inning.
Yeah, I mean, Connor Gaines, he's batting a 1 on the season, so he's been perfect this year. I mean, you just got to watch out for him. I mean, he's been behind the dish today, but maybe he keeps it going. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. And here comes Gatens. As we mentioned, the spotless batting average so far. I mean, only 2 at-bats, but also walked twice in the first game of the year for the Ironbacks. The pitch from Blandino right down the pike for strike 1.
I mean, yeah, showing he gets 2 walks, but he gets 2 hits. It shows your coach, hey, I can get on base.
Yeah, definitely. And Gatens, we'll see if he can recover from this 0-2 hole here. This would be his first time being retired the entire season here for the Ironbacks,
Yeah,
if he's to go down.
But if he sits down, it's a good look for Blandino.
Yeah, Luke Blandino off to a strong start here at Sal Magley as Gatens takes ball 1 high. Blandino sets for the 1-2 pitch. Delivers in the low corner. That's strike 3 on Connor Gatens.
Yeah, he had him swinging. They had him a little confused on that pitch.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that one curved to the outside corner, and he bites. So Connor Gatens may have had the perfect batting average to start off the season, but no more with that. He is now down to 667 after the strikeout. Here comes Marcus Butts, chopper to Shane Prey at third, throws across the field and makes the error, and Butts headed around to second. So that'll likely go down as an E5. We'll wait for confirmation from our scorer, Riley Drew Cross. And yes, it will be an error on the third baseman, Shane Prey. Marcus Butts safe at second base as he removes his gloves. So, I mean, Shane Prey plays a mix of catcher and third, adjusting to the third base position here at Sal Magley.
Yeah, we can't put too much on that play. It's the second game of the season. He's got to get back into his groove. Maybe next time he'll make that play.
Yeah, definitely. But the runner on second now, Blandino checks and then throws to Cali, who lines that past the shortstop, Gazaldo, for the base hit. It's now runners on the corners as the Ironbacks get their second hit of the night. And Keanu Cali with his first hit of his Ironbacks career.
Yeah, I mean, he saw a ball he wanted and just headed right to where he wanted. Now he's got rewarded with a on base.
So Blandino in some trouble for the first time tonight. And here comes Devin Mador. Another reunion here is he's a SUNY Niagara product, facing a lot of his SUNY Niagara teammates, including Harper behind the plate next to him.
Yeah, I wonder what that conversation is like behind the plate.
And the wild pitch as runners advance. So now a run in for the Ironbacks. It's 1-0. Can't be having that in these critical situations.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the jitters are getting to him, but, you know, they keep going. Make a mistake, move on from it.
Yeah, so that one getting past Dalton Harper. As Blandino sets for the 1-0. That will be grounded to the third baseman, Prey. They will rule it foul. So hops just left of the line, and the count evens at 1, with 1 down and the runner on second after the error, the single, and then the wild pitch to score the run for the Ironbacks early.
Yeah, let's see how Blandino responds here. I mean, he gets put in a tight little spot, and maybe he gets out of here even better.
Yeah, and I mean, the Americans were in a 1-0 hole in their first game of the season, and they were able to come back storming as the runner getting away from second briefly, and that throw to check on him is wild, so he will head all the way to third. some mistakes on the field here for the Americans early. And the runner on third is Keanu Cali, who just singled. He's now advanced 2 bases in just this at-bat with Mador at the plate.
Yeah, I mean, looked like they were going to get him at second, but unfortunately missed it all the way to third there.
Yeah, and need a strikeout here, unless otherwise you're going to have to throw to home most likely. That one flown into right field. Foul territory. Coming under it is Evan Core. Runner goes, and it's going to be a productive out. No, they'll rule him out. They'll rule out the throw in time. The cannon of an arm by Evan Core to end the inning. We head to the bottom of the second after these messages.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
We welcome you back for the bottom of the second inning, and this season get yourself the latest Americans gear, hats, t-shirts, sweatshirts, baseballs, and much, much more. Stop by the merchandise stand, buy concessions for all your gear. Andrew Roberts back here with Avery Vogt for the bottom of the second. Due up for the Americans, Shane Prey, Paul Delanto, and Grant Moore.
Yeah, hopefully the Americans get started this inning and get some hits on board.
Yeah, definitely. And here is Shane Prey. For the first time tonight, came in as a pinch hitter, and Prey did not record a hit in that game against the Muck Dogs, but looking for his first tonight against the pitcher, Corpin. Up the middle, and gets past the shortstop for the base hit. And Prey will stop at first, gets past Carter Shin. And I mean, that top of the second inning ended in great fashion with Evan Core's cannon of an arm making it all the way home to Dalton Harper. But now the Americans with a chance to get something going here in the bottom of the second.
Yeah, I mean, with that throw at home and then just starting off first pitch hit, I mean, this inning could be something good.
Yeah, definitely. And that one goes outside for the ball. Paul Delanto making his Americans debut right here. Swings and misses, strike one on him.
Got an even count here. Make sure he looks for a pitch he wants. Make sure he gets these runners advancing.
Yeah, definitely. Prey will keep his eye here on Corpin. Up the middle again for a base hit. And it's 2 ducks on the pond here for Niagara Falls. Prey to second, Delanto to first. And here comes Grant Moore, the number 6 hitter in this lineup tonight, batting .500 on the season.
Yeah.
He comes from the South NAIA school, Mount Vernon Nazarene University.
Yeah, hopefully you can step in here. Got a runner in scoring position, so let's see if we can get the score going.
For sure. Moore fouls it off into the third base stands.
Yeah, there's a souvenir for
And kids chasing after it. Apollo on the lookout as well.
a little girl out there, her dad gave her the ball.
Yeah, definitely. And Grant Moore will look on for the 0-1 low as Prey hurries back to second base. He was hoping that that one would go wild and that he could get third, but coming down with it is the catcher, Connor Gatens.
Yeah, unfortunately, no dice there. I was looking to advance, but maybe we came with a hit here.
Another one fouled off hard down the third base line.
Oh, a young lucky fan getting it from a father there. The ball.
Yeah, just got to hope these kids are keeping their eye on the ball. I mean, got some missiles going out foul on both ends.
Yeah, I mean, you could turn those in for some concessions, though.
Definitely. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes on Grant Moore. The pitch from Corpin outside to fill up the count.
Might see some action here. No outs, 2 runners on base.
For sure, and here we go. That one outside and taking a walk to load up the bases will be Grant Moore.
Now we have that before coming out to bat.
So bases are loaded for Evan Core's Americans debut. Core had that cannon throw all the way from right field to home plate on what looked like a routine sac fly, and we'll see if that good defense can lead to good offense here with the bases loaded. Inside, strike 1 on Evan Core. Or excuse me, ball 1.
Yeah, I mean, especially with that big throw we had earlier. And he can get the bat swing in here and get some runners in.
Core into position on the 1-0. Driven past the second baseman for another base hit. 1 run scores, and we got a little bit of a situation here at third base. Runner has to go back, and now caught in a rundown is the runner on second, Grant Moore. Moore getting tagged out. So out number 1. It's runners on first and third. Scoring is Shane Prey. Delanto will be at third. And coming into first base on the base hit is Evan Core.
Yeah, that was a great hit. You saw what he wanted. He hit it right up the middle and gets a run in. High game you got.
So now the Americans tie things up, hoping to keep the rally going. It's only 1 out. The out coming in a rundown. And now Chris Gazaldo comes in, the number 8 hitter in this Americans lineup. Takes ball 1.
Yeah, I mean, especially when he's got that 400 batting average. Let's see, we got someone on third. Maybe he gets some action here.
For sure, for sure. And the pitch coming. Gazaldo grounds that down the third base line for the base hit. Another run coming in. It's runners on first and second as the Americans take a 2-1 lead with 1 out. So this rally has continued to go through this bottom of the second inning. 5 consecutive runners reaching base. The only out coming on the rundown. Grant Moore getting tagged out between second and third. And now Jake Collins up to bat with Corin Gazaldo on the pond. And deep shot into right field for the base hit. He's going to go for more, and he comes in for the double. He's going for the triple. 2 runs will score. Slides in safe at third. Jake Collins makes this a 4-1 ball game.
That was an amazing hit right there, Andrew. He sees that ball, he drives it to right field, drives in 2 runners. This has been a great inning for the Americans so far.
Definitely, and he drives in both runs with that one.
Yeah, and especially with that triple, we got someone still on third base. Maybe keeping up with the runners in scoring position.
Yeah, so now the last 3 batters have all driven in at least 1 run, and we're back to the top of the lineup with Ian Huang. He contributed plenty against Batavia. Let's see what he can do here. Fly ball in. No, that'll be more of a pop-up. Caught by Jaxar Curry for out number 2. So Ian Huang popping out with the runner, holding at third. Jay Collins, who just tripled. the 2-run triple by Hollins, making this a 4-1 ball game.
Yeah, we got Harper coming up to bat. Maybe he could do some damage here with a guy on third.
Yeah, and Harper drives that into left field. Coming under it for the catch is Chase Hubble. That'll be it for the second inning. We'll come back after these messages.
You know, I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
We welcome you back for the top of the third inning, which is sponsored by Greater Niagara Federal Credit Union, Geico, Sammy's Pizza, and McDonald's. Americans fans can get a free McCafe frap if the Americans score 3 runs. So already the Americans will get their fraps tonight.
And yeah, it's worth the price of admission to get that free frap, especially for McDonald's, especially with this great game going on so far. I'd say that game's already been worth it.
And the Ironbacks will bring up the bottom 3 of their lineup in this top of the third inning. Jacksar Curry, Chase Hubble, and Nolan Phelan. Luke Blandino still in pitching here for the Americans. Gave up the 1 run in the top of the second unearned, so he has no earned runs so far this season. Not the same story for Jaden Corpin over on the Ironbacks side.
Yeah, I mean, he gave up a couple good hits to these Americans, and like we said before, they can be dangerous. And with these hits, they were driving in runs. I mean, besides the little rundown they had at second and third, those Americans were playing ball out there that inning.
And here's Jacksar Curry coming in for the Ironbacks. And a little bit of a story here. He was looking to play for the Americans originally back in March or April. Ended up switching over to the Ironbacks side to join a lot of Canadian players. And he is a native of Welland, Ontario, so fits right in with those guys. These Ironbacks are sharing a stadium with the Welland Jackfish, so that's a local team for him.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're playing at those same ballparks. Like I said before, you play on local turfs, you play in places you played before. You just know where to hit it and what to do in those fields. It really builds almost like a chemistry with you in that field.
Our Curry, the 320 hitter over at Jamestown Community College, batting 333 on a 1-for-3 start to the season with the Ironbacks. So we'll see what he can do here tonight against Blandino as some singing happens down on the field on the first base line. More patriotic music here at Sal Magley. But we'll have baseball underway right here in just a moment as our Curry prepares to face Luke Blandino.
Some young fans singing by the first base line. I remember singing back in elementary school. It was always a fun time.
Definitely. And Blandino has, I mean, yeah, I think almost everybody had some kind of chorus that they had to be a part of at some point in elementary school. For me, that came in 5th grade. Dropped it after a year. I can't really sing, but
Yeah, I mean, that's why they don't have us singing the national anthem.
I mean, aside from Teddy singing the Canadian one,
I mean, that was
representing his
beautiful, though.
country.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he still has his voice all these years later.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you just keep him going. He sung a beautiful national anthem.
Yeah, Teddy O, our box office manager this year, ticketed all these fans here for the first game alongside his assistant Roland Snyder. Gotten to know them both very well over the first couple of weeks here at Sal Magley.
Yeah, they've done a perfect job, especially tonight with all these fans coming in. itching to get their tickets in, and they just a terrific job managing those tickets.
And Blandino, yeah, definitely. And Blandino warming up to face Jack Sarkuri, as we mentioned earlier. We return to action here on the field. Manager coming out briefly here. That would be Richard Griffin.
There you go. Back to some baseball.
And we will play ball as the two coaches for the Ironbacks set up at first and third to serve as first base and third base coaches here. And Jack Sarkuri takes a high inside ball one. So Arcuri, only his fourth at bat as an Ironback, second game. Ironbacks debuted yesterday as Arcuri swings and misses.
Yeah, he seemed kind of out of shape on that swing, kind of lost his balance there for a second, but let's be hopeful for Blandino here. Here you go with an even count. Oh, in there for strike two.
Yeah, so strike two on the hitter Arcuri, playing third base for the Ironbacks tonight. The pitch from Blandino, swung and missed on. Down goes Jack Sarkuri for strike three.
Yeah, that swing was not pretty there, Andrew. I mean, you got him to bite on that ball and get to work with the strikeout.
Yeah, it'll be the second strikeout for Luke Blandino tonight. Jack Sarkuri.
Now we got Chase Hubble up to bat here.
Hubble grounds that down the first base line for a base hit. Gets past the Americans' first baseman, Graydon Miller. And that'll be the third hit given up by Luke Blandino tonight.
Yeah, we got Dalton Harper giving some signs to his infield with the guy on first here.
And here comes the final hitter in this Ironbacks lineup, Nolan Phelan. Takes it high for the ball.
Blandino looks over, he's checking the runner, making sure he's not going anywhere.
So runner on first. 1 ball, 1 strike now on Phelan. Recent graduate of Brock University over in Canada. Traveled with the Welland Junior Jackfish. Has an even count on him with 1 down and 1 on. The pitch from Blandino. Swing and a miss, and they will try for second base, but the steal made by the recent singler Chase Hubble. So Hubble now on second with the stolen base as strike 2 gets away from Dalton Harper for just a moment there. The 1-2 from Blandino, fouled back behind home plate.
Some netting there, almost hit that fan. Lucky he wasn't really paying attention, but he's safe, he's all right, don't worry.
Definitely, and here he will get back into the batter's box for the 1-2 pitch from Blandino, who checks the runner at second. That's way wild, right at the batter's head. And headed towards third now is Chase Hubble. So he's had quite a workout in for him. Started at first, he singled, and now has taken 2 bases. First the steal, and now the wild pitch.
Yeah, he got an even count 2-2 here. I mean, got a guy on third with 1 out. Might see a sack fly here. You gotta watch the guy on third here.
Yeah, a lot easier to see him now that he's on third. It's a little bit of a blind spot for the pitcher at second base as he delivers. That one fouled off. That'll be a swing and miss, but they'll complete the strikeout at first base as that briefly got away from Harper. So that'll go down as a strikeout, the third of the night by Luke Blandino. It's back to the top of the lineup with Carter Shin coming up for the second time tonight. He flew out to left field the first time up.
Yeah, now it's more manageable here for Blandino. He's got 2 outs, but a runner on third. All we need is 1 out to get out of this top of the inning.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the box score, you just see strikeout, single, strikeout. Doesn't really do justice to the fact that Chase Hubble's all the way on third base now as ball one goes outside to the leadoff hitter, Carter Shin. Blandino readies the 1-0. That's way outside. So a 2-0 count here. As that one curves to the outside. They were hoping to get Shin to bite. He's been showing some patience here at the plate. Drive into left field. Will that drop fair or foul? They will rule it fair. Run will score. And headed into second is Carter Shin, the stand-up double. That is the fourth hit of the night for the Ironbacks. Drives in their second run. It's 4-2.
Yeah, that was just a nice hit right there. He saw the pitch he wanted. He was in that 2-0 count. Drives to the left field and gets a run in. We got a game on our hands here, Andrew.
Yeah, for sure. And here comes Alex Keene for the second time tonight. He singled the first time up. He's going to be a tough customer, especially with a runner in scoring position right behind the eyes of Blandino. He'll check the runner.
Checks him again.
A big lead by Carter Shin as ball one goes low. Alex Keene, now a 500 hitter here for the Ironbacks.
Yeah, I mean, with 2 outs here, you just got to play it first.
And
Watching the runner at second.
scurrying back to second base is Carter Shin. Has to do that with Blandino checking back.
It's always good to keep the runners in check, make sure they're not going that way. There we go.
And that will be flown for out number 3. We'll head to a commercial break. We will be right back after these messages with the bottom of the third inning.
You know, I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
We welcome you back for the bottom of the third inning. And fans, did you know American season tickets are just $99? Come be a part of the fun this summer at Sal Magley Stadium. Stop by the concession stands and pick up your season tickets today to be a part of this historic season in Niagara Falls. You can also call 716-215-6161 when you're not at the ballpark. So a 4-2 lead by the Americans over the Ironbacks. Andrew Roberts still here with Avery Vogt. And due up for the Americans in this bottom of the third will be Dalton Harper, Graydon Miller, and Shane Prey. So Dalton Harper comes up for the second time tonight. Driven into left field, foul.
I believe that's Graydon Miller up to that here, Andrew.
Excuse me, that will be Graydon Miller. Dalton Harper was retired in the last inning. The final out. So that one gets away from the catcher, Gatens, for ball one. So my apologies. It'll be Miller, Prey, and Delanto due up.
Snake eyes count here, Andrew, so let's see what he's got.
Count is at 2-1 now here on Graydon Miller. That one way outside. So the 3-1 count in the favor of Graydon Miller. See if he can capitalize here and get his second hit of his American season. Ground ball picked up by Shin. And will the out be completed at first base? No! He's safe. So that'll be the 6th hit of the night for the Niagara Falls Americans. And way to have some wheels, Graydon Miller. Beat out the throw from Shin.
Yeah, I mean, he just pieced that ball right to the shortstop. Didn't necessarily have any trouble with it, but, you know, the way that the ball was rolling, he beats it out at first base, and he got a guy on already.
Yeah, definitely. And here comes the cleanup hitter, Shane Prey. Singled the first time up in the top of the second, showing why he is in this cleanup spot. That one near his helmet for ball 1.
Doing some chin music there with that pitch.
Oh, definitely. Prey takes it upstairs. So 2 pitches in similar spots. It's a 2-0 count. We'll see if he shows patience here or takes a swing with the 2-0 count. Another one upstairs, and I mean, he's 1 pitch away from walking right here, unless Corpin switches it up.
Yeah, no, you just swing the bat when the balls are up and in, and, you know, you just got to keep the bat on your shoulders. Maybe get something here.
The pitch will go inside for ball 4. So Prey gets on base for the second time tonight. He'll walk, and up comes Paul Delanto. This is the meat of the lineup that got the rally going in the second inning. And now in the third inning, seeing some action once again. Delanto singled his first time up. Can he get his second hit of his American's career?
I mean, yeah, right now we have a little meeting on the mound, so maybe you can get into the pitcher's mind. Maybe get a hit here and keep this offense going here for the Americans.
Yeah, Americans switching it up from their first game, wearing their red batting helmets tonight. But yeah, Delanto rather, will look to get into the head of Jaden Corpin. Already got a hit off him tonight. He has just struggled against this middle part of the lineup between Graydon Miller, Shane Prey, Delanto, Moore, all of them contributing. Check swing will not count. That'll be ball 1.
Oop.
Now looks like they changed the call to a strike after the check to first base. Fly ball headed towards right field. Coming under it to make the catch is the right fielder, Alex Keene. Runners hold at first and second, out number 1 on the Americans.
Looking for that hit there, and fortunately the right fielder caught it, but runners will stay, like you said, at their respective bases. So with 1 out, maybe we'll see something going here.
And Grant Moore, the next one up, he singled his first time around. Takes a ball outside. And having to get up off his feet for that one is Connor Gatens. Gatens, the DH, first time around for the Ironbacks, now catching. Popped up by Moore into left field, and making the catch is Chase Hubble for out number 2. So 2 quick outs now. Ends up being a longer fly ball than originally anticipated.
Yeah, it looked like Graydon Miller was going to steal it for third, but with that catch, he's got to go back to second.
So yeah, Graydon Miller on second base after a shallow fly ball into left field. Evan Core now up to bat for the Americans. Gazaldo in the on-deck circle. Runners on first and second with 2 down. A crucial moment for the Americans as they look to expand on their 4-2 lead. Pitch from Corpin after check back to second. Fouled off down the first base line. Yeah, could have ended up in a tuba right there. But who knows? Can't see everything back there with those foul balls. 0-1 count, though, on Evan Core. Goes inside to even up this count. Gatens has had to crab walk a little bit tonight, especially the left side. Corpin has liked that right batter's box for some of these balls, especially in this third inning.
Yeah, Copa's not making it easy on his catcher, but we'll see as the night goes on if he adjusts anything, makes it a little easier on his catcher.
That one spinning outside, but called for strike 2. Does not fool Evan Core, but it catches the strike zone anyways. Similar spot, but the second time it'll be called for a ball to even up the count. It'll be just interesting to see how consistent these calls behind the dish are tonight. Core grounds that to Shin out at second, recorded. And that'll be out number 3. We'll head to the top of the 4th after the break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
This 4th inning is brought to you by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 237, Johnny Ryan, and Coca-Cola. Get your Coke beverages down at concessions. So we'll be back for the top of the 4th here in just a moment, but first, a little early rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game by the Niagara Falls High School Band, marching on the field. So you see a little bit of that action right here. And my apologies for the audio difficulties. We could not get Avery Votes' mic to work, so I'll be taking it over here for the rest of the night. Hoping to get Avery back on the call on Sunday with a new mic, but unfortunately technical difficulties getting in the way in this one. So my apologies there for that. But the game will go on in this top of the 4th inning. And the Ironbacks will have Brock Granger, Connor Gatens, and Marcus Butts on the docket here, as Alex Keene was retired for the final out of the top of the 3rd by Luke Blandino. Dino coming out for the 4th inning, has 3 strikeouts on the day, one earned run. The other run came unearned on the error by Shane Prey. And Marcus Butts reached on that error. He'll be up again for the second time tonight in this inning. So Blandino warming up and getting ready to face Brock Granger. Got a hit subbing in the first game for these Ironbacks last night. And now in this second game, grounded into a double play. So that rounds out his batting average to an even 500. Blandino playing catch with Dalton Harper. As we get ready for the top of the fourth inning, that will follow up the performance of Take Me Out to the Ball Game by the Niagara Falls High School Band. And stepping in to the batter's box in just a moment here, Granger now stepping in as we get ready for the top of the fourth inning here from Sal Magley, otherwise known as the Barbershop. 6 hits for the Americans, 4 for the Ironbacks so far tonight, as that one goes low for the ball. So the 1-0 count here on Brock Granger, a Toronto Mets alum. Takes the 1-0 from Blandino outside. And pretty hitter-friendly count here as he's up 2-0. Seems like that just missed target there. But Blandino hoping to recover from that pitch. Throws that one right down into the inside corner. It's a 3-0 count. And Blandino going to have to find his command of the strike zone again if he does not want to put a runner on base here in the form of Brock Granger. Granger, his Panola teammate Gazaldo is at short tonight. That'll catch the bottom of the strike zone. So Blandino hanging in there in this at bat. No green light for Brock Granger after the 3-0 count to start things off. Grounds that one to the second baseman, Huang. Throw to first is in time for out number 1. So the 4-3 retires Brock Granger. We'll have the cleanup hitter, Connor Gatens, coming up for the Ironbacks right now, as Brock Granger collects his things and heads back to the visiting dugout, throwing his bat to his teammate Cowley, who is now in the hole with Marcus Butts on deck. Blandino throws it down the middle, and it's down the third base line for the base hit, and potentially more. Headed towards second is Connor Gatens. He's got the stand-up double, as Grant Moore having to chase that one down in the deep corner of left field. So far in the inning, the 4-3 ground out by Brock Granger and the double by Connor Gatens, the 5th hit of the night. And Marcus Butts getting Curb Your Enthusiasm as a walk-up song here at Sal Magley Stadium. And the fans getting rowdy here with the runner on second. Blandino will check back as Gatens already has a lead. How about a catcher with wheels? That one outside for ball 1 on Marcus Butts. He served as the catcher last night for these Ironbacks, now DHing, switching with Connor Gatens. Ironbacks, two of their best hitters that they recruited, these two, Gatens and Butts, both recruited as catchers. That's up the middle, and it'll drop for the base hit. Runners on the corners as Gatens holds at third, and we've got a catcher on first and a catcher on third. Just one of them catching tonight, but interesting dynamic here in the middle of the order. Catchers who can rake for the Ironbacks as Keanu Cowley comes up to bat. And Cowley originally hails from Australia, the rare guy on these teams not from the U.S. or Canada. Sydney, Australia native, came to America to play baseball at Hartford Community College. He's a .321 hitter over there, trying to get his batting average up here at Sal Magley for the Ironbacks. That's an outside ball 1. Could at least help his on-base percentage if he's able to walk here. Blandino has given up 2 hits in the inning. Now runners on the corners. And 1 down for Keanu Kelly, who got his first hit of the season in the 2nd inning. Can he get his 2nd hit of the season in the 4th inning? That almost gets him in the head. That's ball 2. High and inside. And, I mean, those inside pitches really line up with the namesake of this stadium, Sal Magley. He loved them. That's flown into right field. It'll be foul. It's good to get a strike on the count for Blandino. Luke Blandino, 3.58 ERA last season. It's a little higher so far this season as he's given up one. Actually, no, one of them was unearned, so only a 3 ERA, but runners will go on the wild pitch. And now on ball 3, another run scoring. The runner on second. No, they'll say they got him at home plate, so tagged out at home for out number 2. That was clutch. But the runner on second for the Ironbacks on the wild pitch, avoiding disaster here at Sal Magley. And now 2 down with Keanu Kelly up to bat. Kelly swings and misses. It's a full count with 2 outs now. So no wiggle room for him at home. Blandino has a runner on second and 2 down. Gets ready to throw the payoff pitch to Keanu Kelly. Blandino checks back. He delivers. Check swing, and he got him for strike 3. That'll do it for the top of the 4th. We will be right back.
No, I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
We welcome you back in and here at Sal Magley Stadium for the bottom of the 4th Dizzy Bat race finishing up here. Yankee Doodle Dan emceeing that down on the field. But we get ready for the bottom of the 4th inning of baseball. We want to remind our fans to follow us on all social media platforms this season. You can connect with the Americans like never before with exclusive content on all social media. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Those ats are on your screen right now. And it'll be the bottom 3rd of the Niagara Falls Americans lineup here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Or rather, Gazaldo, Hollins, and Huang. So it'll be back to the top of the lineup here in the bottom of the 4th after these 2 batters. Gazaldo, fly ball into right field. Backing up is the second baseman, Devin Medor, to make the catch and retire Gazaldo. Ends up being more of a pop-up, and we've got 1 down. Jake Hollins. Hollins up with 1 down, nobody on, takes ball 1 outside. Hollins Gets set for the 1-0 pitch, fouled off. And my apologies, that first one ended up being called a strike, so the 0-2 count here on the number 9 hitter in the Americans lineup, Jake Hollins. One-two count now as that one goes for ball 1. 6 hits apiece for these teams. Americans have made 2 errors, but that one lined right to the second baseman for out number 2. Devin Medor has been busy tonight, catching a line out, a pop out. And now back to the top of the order for the Americans. It's Ian Huang. Went 4 for 5 in the opening game of the season, but now 4 for 7 on the season after a strikeout and a pop out to third base tonight. Outside, ball 1 to start us off here with 2 down and nobody on. Huang gets set for the 1-0 pitch. Lines that foul. Ian Huang looking to gain some traction here in the transfer portal. That 4 for 5 game in the opener was a great start for him. He spent his freshman year at Niagara University, but his time with the Americans looking to garner attention from other Division I institutions. Takes ball 2 outside. Hoping to get on base for the first time tonight. And not only did he go 4 for 5, but he had 3 RBIs in this and started the 7-1 rally. But right here, hits it right to the first baseman for out number 3. So top of the 5th coming right up after these messages. Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field. This top of the 5th inning and the entire 5th inning is sponsored by Tropical Heating and Cooling. Call 716-870-0753 for expert service. And back for the top of the 5th inning here as the Americans hold on to a 4-2 lead. 6 hits and 2 errors for them as well. But due up for the Ironbacks in this top of the 5th will be Devin Medor, Jack Curry, and Chase Hubble. Devin Medor was very busy in that last inning at second base. Getting a lot of work in, a pop out, a line out from the bottom 2 hitters of the Americans lineup. But comes in here after an out on the wild pitch as well as a strikeout by Keanu Cali to retire to get the final 2 outs for the Americans and bring Devin Medor up here in the top of the 5th. Chopper heads to Prey at third base all the way across the field. This time that'll go. So Shane Prey, similar play in the first inning, went down for an error, but he's able to successfully complete that one across the diamond for out number 1. And here comes the third baseman for the Ironbacks now, Jack Curry. And our Curry is 0 for 1 on the night with a strikeout. Batting average down to .250 on the season with that one. Pitch from Blandino is brought right back up the middle, and Huang will pick it up, but it's too soft, and headed into first base with the single is Jack Curry. So that one, that soft hit up the middle, just Huang not able to get quite the right read on it, but it'll go down most likely as a single. We'll wait for confirmation from our scorer. Yes, the single for Jack Curry. He's 1 for 2 now on the night. Hubble now up to bat. Takes strike one on the outside corner. Blandino, I mean, he's had some traffic on the base paths, but still a strong night for him. And it's evened up, count evened up at 1-1. Now for Chase Hubble, who singled on his first time up today. The lead by our Curry. It's a 2-1 count now. As our Curry scurries back to first base on ball 2. Hubble getting ready for the 2-1 pitch from Luke Blandino. Check swing. They will say that he is good for the ball. Did not go there. So a 3-1 count after the appeal to the first base umpire. Only 2 umpires here in the PGCBL, 1 at home and 1 standing between first and second, serving as the first base umpire for the most part. Pitch from Blandino fouled off to fill up the count. Luke Blandino up to 47 pitches. As it's Chase Hubble up to bat for the second time today. Full count payoff pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. So the 4th strikeout of the day for Luke Blandino. Runner will advance to second on that one, though. A productive strikeout in a way by Chase Hubble as the pitch gets away from Dalton Harper. So a runner in scoring position as the extra hitter Nolan Phelan comes up to bat. Struck out his first time around. So my apologies. That was the 5th strikeout for Blandino. One of them going to Nolan Phelan. Swing and a miss there. Could it be strikeout number 6 on this one? And our Curry was hoping to make it to third there, but we'll have to run back to second. As the home plate umpire holds off on the next pitch. Gets back into position now. He's ready to go. Blandino checks the runner. Delivers. High for ball 1. So that'll even up the count on Nolan Phelan. Phelan. This is his Ironbacks debut tonight. Fouls that one back right behind him into the netting. You can see that get closer and closer to our camera. No worries, our camera is way up here in the press box. It is safe with this netting protecting us from any loose balls, foul balls for the most part. Blandino checking the runner multiple times before he delivers on the 1-2. Will go over the first base stands into the concourse near the visiting clubhouse. 1-2 count on Nolan Phelan, the Brock University graduate, recent graduate. Played for Finger Lakes Community College for a couple of years. Chopper to Shane Prey, sends it to first, and another 5-3 ground out to finish off the inning. Shane Prey bookends the inning with some better defense as we head to the bottom of the 5th after the commercial break.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
We welcome you back here for the bottom of the 5th inning of action here on the Americans Baseball Network. Americans lead 4-2 despite the Niagara Ironbacks out-hitting them tonight. And the Americans committed 2 errors, but the Ironbacks have had a problem leaving a lot of runners on base. So due up in this inning for the Americans will be Dalton Harper, Graydon Miller to return east, as well as Shane Prey, who's been settling in over at third base here at Sal Magley after playing plenty of it for SUNY Fredonia this season. But at the end of this inning, we will keep it here to show you the Wegmans Kids Run. We want to remind you that Wegmans sponsors our birthday package here at the Americans. We'll give you more on that leading in to the Kids Run. So we will keep it here after this 5th inning. No commercial break as we give you some of the on-field action. Ball 1 gets away from Connor Gatens as the fellow catcher, Dalton Harper, is up to the plate for the 2nd time, or rather 3rd time tonight. He fouled out his first time up. He's 0 for 2 on the night now. Catches the inside corner for strike 1. Harper will not bite. Dalton Harper, a seasoned Americans veteran, knows many of these guys. And he takes ball 2 outside, but also, played with a lot of them at SUNY Niagara, played with a lot of them here last summer. As I mentioned, caught a lot of games here, batted .269 in 2024. That one goes right back to the pitcher. And Corpin will throw it to first for out number 1. So the 1-3 ground out by Dalton Harper to begin this 5th inning for the Americans. His fellow 2-year teammate Graydon Miller will follow him up here with 1 down. He's 1 for 2 on the night with a single and a fly out. Brings his total batting average up to .333 after he went 1 for 4 in the first game of the season. Up high and inside for the ball. As Jaden Corpin readies again. That one popped up. Coming in is the shortstop, Carter Shin. Everybody coming in now, but Shin will come down with it to make the catch. So the pop out goes into the glove of Shin, who has been pretty busy tonight. Maybe not as busy as the second baseman, Devin Medor, who was also there ready to go, as well as pitcher Jaden Corpin. But nonetheless, 2 down, nobody on for Shane Prey, who has reached base every time he's been up tonight, looking to keep that going. With 2 down, fly ball, shallow center field, goes more towards right center. Callie will make the catch, and we will keep it here for the Wegmans Kids Run. And fans, we want to remind you that if you or someone you know has a birthday coming up, why not spend it with the Americans? Packages include 10 tickets, 2 large Sammy's pizzas, 10 customized 10 drinks, customized Wegmans cake, autographed Americans baseballs, and special recognition at the game starting at just $175. Sign up online at NiagaraFallsAmericans.com. And Wegmans also sponsoring our Kids Run that you will see on the field right now. And nobody able to catch Yankee Doodle Dan as they run across to third base in this first edition of the Wegmans Kids Run. You can celebrate your birthday with the Americans starting at just $175. As I mentioned earlier, get some Sammy's Pizzas in here, get some Wegmans cake in here. Very exciting to see. And Blandino is done after 5 innings. We're going to have a new pitcher coming up, a call to the bullpen. And that call, it's Nolan Jackson. He was the starting shortstop for the Americans in the last game, but now coming in as a reliever. And we want to remind you that this 6th inning is brought to you by Niagara County Legislator Chris Robins, Laborers Local 91, and Wegmans. They also sponsor our Kids Run. You can get free cake from Wegmans as part of the $175 birthday package. But a great 6th inning ahead as Jackson relieves Blandino. Blandino went 5 strong, only 1 run earned. So his ERA down at 1.8 to start this season. Very impressive to see. Even if the run was earned, would have been something like 3.6, similar to his 3.58 from 2024. But Luke Blandino is going to be a staple here for the Americans as a starting pitcher this summer, as he was a summer ago. Started 6 games. But we'll get underway for the top of the 6th in a moment here. As due up will be Carter Shin, Alex Keene, and Brock Granger, the top of the order here for the Ironbacks. And Nolan Jackson, as I mentioned, is in to relieve Luke Blandino for the top of the 6th. As the Americans hold on to their 4-2 lead. First pitch from Jackson goes outside for the ball. So 1 ball and no strikes on Carter Shin, who's 1 for 2 on the day. The RBI double in the 3rd inning for 1 of 2 runs for these Ironbacks. That was ball 2. Pretty low. So the pitch from Jackson, a big fastball, but goes outside for ball 3. Shin steps into the batter's box, hitter-friendly count. Unlikely to get the green light here, but strike 1 down the pike on Carter Shin. Jackson taking advantage of the fact that Shin doesn't necessarily have the resume just yet to get the green light on the 3-0 count. Count fills up as Shin fouls it off down the first base side into the bleachers. So first payoff pitch of the night going to be on the way from Nolan Jackson in just a moment as Shin gets ready. Ball 4. Just outside for the walk on Carter Shin, who gets on base for the 2nd time tonight with Jackson pitching. And we'll have to see what these Ironbacks can do after knocking Blandino out of the game. Alex Keene, one of the best hitters here for the Ironbacks, singled in the 1st inning. He's 1 for 2, though. Way outside for the ball. Jackson going to have to find some better command of the strike zone here if he wants to stay out of trouble with the runner on first. Right down the middle, flown into deep center field. Backing up is Hollins. That ends up being warning track power as Hollins makes the catch. Shin hurrying back to first base. So the fly out to dead center, if that had a little bit more on it, could have been the first home run of the season here at Sal Maglie to tie up the game, but goes into the glove of Hollins right near the wall in center field. As the runner holds at first and Brock Granger comes up for the 3rd time tonight. He's 0 for 2. 333 hitter in 3 at-bats here for the Ironbacks. Fouled off down the first base line. It was a rocket, but loses a little bit of steam as it lands in the right field corner, foul territory of the outfield grass. Stepping back into the batter's box with the 0-1 count is Brock Granger. Getting back into position as the 0-1 is delivered from Jackson outside and high for ball 1. So Nolan Jackson got some help from his center fielder Jake Hollins on the last at bat. Now in an even battle with Brock Granger. Jackson delivers for strike 2. Jackson familiar with a lot of these guys. Played for the Ontario Royals over in Canada. The rare Canadian on this Americans team, but he'll represent the U.S. tonight in this USA-Canada battle for Niagara Falls. The 1-2 pitch. Way inside and low in the dirt. stealing second, and now headed to third is the runner Carter Shin. So he gets all the way across the diamond to third base as that pitch goes wild in the dirt. So a 2-2 count here on Granger. And trouble potentially for Nolan Jackson, but he'll have his eyes right on Carter Shin, the righty. Gets a great view of third base from the mound. Doesn't have to check behind him. Almost better that he's at third base than second base, at least for that situation, but could be easily driven in by Granger, so that's the tough part here. Upstairs for ball 3. Full count for the second time this inning. He had a full count on Shin that ended up going for the walk. Hopefully doesn't walk Granger here because that would be runners on the corners. Way low for ball 4. And it is indeed runners on the corners. 2 ducks on the pond for Connor Gatens.
Now batting the catcher, number 11, Connor Gatens.
Gatens is 1 for 2 on the night, doubled in the 4th inning. And fellow catcher Marcus Butts in the on-deck circle, but doing the catching tonight is Gatens. Quick meeting between Harper and Jackson on the mound. Dalton Harper returning to his post behind the dish. As we continue on in this top of the 6th inning with 1 down and 2 on for the catcher Gatens. First pitch from Jackson outside and low for ball 1. Gatens, as I mentioned, 1 for 2 on the night. Lowers his average to 750. Yeah, he was batting 1,000 headed into tonight. Count is even up at 1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out for number 11 up to bat. You're seeing a lot of 1s up on the scoreboard. Out in right center field. Way outside. Runners will go as the pitch goes wild. So headed into second is Brock Granger. Scoring is Carter Shin. It's 4-3, a 1-run ball game. Some trouble for Nolan Jackson. Now has a runner to check on in scoring position back at second base. As Gatens steps back into the batter's box with a hitter-friendly count. Breaks up all the 1s on the scoreboard. As number 11 steps back into the batter's box to face 44, Nolan Jackson. Swing and a miss for strike 2. A strikeout would be big here to hold the runner at second base in Brock Granger. Jackson checks back, now delivers the 2-2, flown into right field. Actually, will be more foul territory, and making the catch will be Graydon Miller. So 2 down with the runner on second in this 6th inning as Marcus Butts comes in. Continuing the DH, he's 1 for 2. Reached on the error, though, so he's reached twice tonight. Despite what would have been an out, a 5-3 grounder. The error was on Shane Prey. He's certainly recovered defensively since then. But the pop-up to the first baseman just now, and now the base hit for Butts to make it runners on the corners once again. Throw home won't really do anything as the runners hold on the Marcus Butts single, his 2nd hit of the night, his 2nd hit of the season. So Butts on first and Granger on third as Keanu Cali comes up. He's also 1 for 2. And it's 4-3. Ironbacks threatening to tie this game. The tying run is at third base. The go-ahead run is at first base. Strike 1 down the pike. And it was needed here on Keanu Cali. But Jackson still has to finish the job here in what could be a long at bat. He's had plenty of them tonight. Swing and a miss for strike 2. So 1 strike away now, Nolan Jackson on the mound, hoping to avoid further damage. Already gave up a run to make this a one-run ball game. Jackson sets, delivers, swing and a miss. Down goes Keanu Kelly, strikes out for the second time tonight. And we will be right back with the bottom of the 6th inning after these messages. Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Maglie Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field. We welcome you back for the bottom of the 6th inning here at Sal Maglie. And, I mean, remember fans, an Americans game is a great way to entertain a group for the evening. And we are able to offer fundraisers tailored to your group needs, nonprofits, churches, youth sports, and more. For all group information, please visit their website at NiagaraFallsAmericans.com. And we come back for the bottom of the 6th inning. 2 up for the Americans. The middle of the order, Paul Delanto, Grant Moore, and Evan Core. So, Delanto takes the strike from Corpin, who's headed into his 6th inning of pitching. Now ball 1 outside. Jaden Corpin, not often seeing this long of work, but he's seen it tonight. Driven into shallow left, but caught by Carter Shin for out number 1. Paul Delanto retired on the line out to Shin. And here comes Grant Moore. Evan Core is on deck though. And Grant Moore on the night is 0 for 1, had a sac fly. Rather, my apologies, that was the wrong numbers. He's 1 for 2 with a single. That one down for the base hit. Moore is on first, right down the first base line. So we've got a runner on for the Americans here in the bottom of the 6th inning as they look to gain some insurance with the one-run lead. Speaking of insurance, this broadcast brought to you by Geico of Buffalo, where you can save 15% or more on car insurance in 15 minutes. And stealing second is Grant Moore. So Moore with some wheels to get to second base with Evan Core up to bat. Now a runner in scoring position for him with 1 down. Core played for SUNY Niagara in 2024. Didn't see action in 2025 there, but a .375 hitter in the 24 season. And Core is 1 for 2 on the night. Core did catch some bullpens during the season, but the 1-1 count on him here with the runner on second. One's across the board. Ball strikes out as Corpin checks not only the scoreboard, but also the runner, Graham Moore. Oh, that whacks Evan Core. And Jaden Corpin, a bit of an uphill battle here in this bottom of the 6th inning, has not had the same control that he had in the first 5 innings of pitching. And Brad Alexander, we mentioned earlier that he was expected to relieve Corpin. He's up in the bullpen for the Niagara Ironbacks. And a meeting on the mound. We'll see if they make the decision to pull Corpin and let Alexander come into the game to face Chris Gazaldo. Some post-game fireworks here after the game, presented by Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino. Thank you. Thank you to them. They are the official casino of the Americans, one of our largest sponsors. Big sponsor here on the broadcast as well. You can see their sign. There is a little bit cut off by the camera, but their sign out in left field and right field. So runners on first and second for Chris Gazaldo, as Corpin will hang in there for another batter at least. Both runners have a lead. Gazaldo grounds it to third. He'll tag for the out right there, but only one out here, as the fielder's choice on Gazaldo will at least prevent a runner from advancing to third. And now Jake Hollins will have a similar situation, 2 on, but 2 out. So Jake Hollins on the night had the 2-run triple to start off, lined out in the 4th inning as well. So he's 1 for 2 and takes ball 1 outside. Hollins, second-year vet here for the Americans. 1 of 3 in tonight's lineup. Dalton Harper, Graydon Miller also back for the 2nd season. Hollins fouls it off into the third base bleachers. Hollins, a product of DeUville, very familiar with Sal Magley Stadium. 2 for 7 on the season after a 1 for 5 start on Wednesday night. Outside for ball 2. And this will be his last full summer between years of college. Will be entering his senior year at DeUville in the fall. And has the 2-1 count on him here. Driven into right center field. Will it drop? No. That's caught by Keene for out number 3. We'll head to the break. We'll be back with the top of the 7th inning.
No, I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Back for the top of the 7th inning, and this 7th inning is sponsored by Elks Lodge of Niagara Falls, Bikers Against Child Abuse, Stalka Agency Insurance, and Red Robin Gourmet Burgers and Brews. Players last season showed up at Red Robin to sign some autographs, take pictures with the fans. And Joe Chaya coming out of the bullpen for the Niagara Falls Americans after 1 inning of Nolan Jackson. Chaya is another product of SUNY Niagara, has not appeared yet for the Americans, but over there had a few appearances, had a 3 ERA, 4 strikeouts. I'm told that he could have some starts here as well as bullpen appearances for these Americans over the course of the season. But here he will come out of the pen to face, at the very least, Madore, Curry, and Hubble, the 7-8-9 of this Ironbacks lineup. Devin Madore still up here. My apologies. Thought we had a pinch hitter for a second, but it will be number 7, Devin Madore, the second baseman here tonight for the Ironbacks, trying to tie things up here with the 4-3 deficit. So ball 1 outside on him, and Joe Chaya will ready for his second pitch inside at the helmet of Devin Madore for ball 2. Chaya sets and delivers the 2-0. Oh, that's way inside and low. Almost grazes the knees of Devin Madore, so a 3-0 count on him. Could see an up the middle pitch here. Unlikely green light, but no, that goes way outside for ball 4, so a 4-pitch walk. Not the finest start of things here for Joe Chaya. We'll see if he can recover from that. As Devin Madore heads to first base for the first time tonight. Had a sac fly in the second inning, but had not reached base yet. And here's Jack Curry. First pitch outside again. And the try at first unsuccessful. Graydon Miller saves it from disaster, though. Jumping up for the catch from Dalton Harper. Jack Curry back into the batter's box for the 1-0 pitch from Joe Chaya. Another one inside, and it's been 6 straight balls for Joe Chaya as Harper will come to the mound, call timeout to meet with Joe Chaya. Some adjustments may need to be made to finish out this at-bat with Jack Curry. Already have a runner on first that represents the tying run. Curry represents the go-ahead run. Americans had some close situations in their game against the Muck Dogs, came out with the win, so done well so far in the clutch, but we'll see what they're able to do here with Chaya on the bump. Outside, ball 3. 7 consecutive balls for Joe Chaya as he continues to pitch to Jack Curry. And that catches the inside corner of the strike zone for strike 1. No green light from Jack Curry there. Breaks up the streak of balls as it just finds the strike zone. See if Chaya can start to get his command back here. Another strike. Now it's a full count with 1 on, nobody out. That one closer to the middle of the zone. And Curry, who was used to balls, will not swing on that strike 2. The check at first base unsuccessful as Madore not giving any inkling of hope to Joe Chaya there. Fouled off into the netting down the first base line. Bleachers there. 3-2 count. Payoff pitch on the way from Joe Chaya to Jack Curry. Not quite in there. Goes just outside for ball 4. 2 consecutive walks by Joe Chaya. And 2 ducks on the pond for Chase Hubble. So Hubble with 2 on. He's singled and struck out on the day. And actually 0 for 1 tonight with runners on. His single came after the strikeout by Curry in the 3rd inning. Blandino retiring him for his 2nd strikeout of the night. Finished the night with 5 in 5 innings. And Chaya gets ready to pitch to Hubble for the first time this season. Hubble shows bunt, then backs up. Little fake out there, but it's ball one. I think as soon as he knew that was going for a ball, he was like, you know what? We'll save the bunt for later. Hubble gets ready for the 1-0 as Chaya checks the runner at second. Outside, ball two. So far for Joe Chaya, he's thrown 12 pitches and only 2 of them have been strikes. So Chaya hoping to get his command back here. Another bunt shown, but low corner for ball three. The 11th ball out of 13 pitches that Joe Chaya has thrown. A walk here would load the bases. Hubble unlikely to have the green light here, though. That's strike one down the pike. So Chaya has really only been able to throw strikes so far on 3-0 counts. I mean, you had a nice strike two on the last at bat, but ends up walking our Curry. Not quite in there. That goes outside and low for ball four. Bases loaded for the extra hitter, Nolan Phelan. 3 consecutive walks by Joe Chaya. The go-ahead run now at second base, so in scoring position for the Ironbacks, as we'll have a meeting on the mound with Joe Chaya, all his infielders, and manager Paul Wolf. Could have a new pitcher here. Yes, somebody coming out of the pen. We'll have word on who that is in just a moment here.
Also, a reminder that we do have fireworks this evening, sponsored by Niagara Casino and Resorts. So please stick
And Chaya's teammates coming out of the dugout to give him some kudos after he faces the first 3 batters of the inning and walks them. And we'll see who it is working to get the Americans out of the jam. And we'll get you word on that relief pitcher in just a moment. Appears it'll be the right-hander Robert Leach coming in to pitch. Leach was expected to potentially start some games, possibly even this weekend, but now coming out of the pen, product of St. John Fisher. Over there, he was 1-3 with a 5.97 ERA, but 33 strikeouts in 34 2/3 innings. So, some great swing and miss stuff. We'll see if it comes through here with the bases loaded and nobody out. A very tough situation he's stepping into. This game could risk breaking wide open if Leach is unable to get these Americans out of the jam. And we'll wait to see who the batter is here. We're going to have a pinch hitter for the Niagara Ironbacks. Getting word it's Bryce Bedrosian. Played third base in the season opener for the Ironbacks last night, and he takes ball one outside. Working relationship with Nolan Jackson, who pitched earlier in this game. They greeted each other out on the field during batting practice. And he will step in for Nolan Phelan as the extra hitter, most likely. Swings and misses on strike one. Leach having better luck than Joe Chaya here thus far. First base umpire standing closer towards between second and third. That one goes in for strike two on the new batter, Bryce Bedrosian. Leach delivers. Gets in there for strike 3. And Bedrosian, first time up to the plate against these Americans. He strikes out looking. And it's back to the top of the order with bases loaded and now one down. Carter Shin heads up to face the new pitcher, Robert Leach, who's already struck out his first batter faced. Leach delivers strike 1 on the 12-6 slider right there. The 0-1 low for the ball to even up the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1's across the board on Carter Shin. He's 1 for 2 on the night, RBI double and a walk. Fouls it off behind him into the low netting of home plate. Scaring those fans in VIP for a second there. Alex Keene on deck. Big hitter for the Ironbacks. 333 hitter here. And over 300. To be exact, 309 over at D1 Moorhead State. And brief timeout by Carter Shin. Comes back in to try and recover from this 1-2 count. Pitch from Leach. Driven into left field. Chasing after it is Grant Moore. Runners will go. It's a tie ball game on the sac fly. So, I mean, out number 2 should help matters in avoiding disaster here, but it's still runners on first and second and the run scoring to tie up this ball game. Up comes Alex Keene with runners on first and second and 2 down. And Keene is 2 for 6 in his time as an Ironback, 1 for 3 each night thus far. Takes ball 1 high from Robert Leach. The runners on now are Curry and Hubble. Devin Medor came in to score on the sac fly. He was the first to walk in this inning. That's called for strike 1 to even up the count with 2 down. Caught the low outside corner. Leach checks the runner at second. Checks again, now delivers low. And it's a hitter-friendly count for Alex Keene. You don't want to mess with him here. Alex Keene, a very capable hitter, as he showed in the very first inning by getting on base. Obviously, retired by the double play the next at bat, but still productive. Fly ball into foul territory down the third base line. Drops past the left field foul pole towards the bullpen. Appears we're getting ready for more action in the Americans' bullpen, but may not need it here as Leach is 1 strike away. Now a fly ball into foul territory, and it's caught by Shane Prey, the third baseman. We'll head to the bottom of the 7th. We'll be right back after these messages.
You know, I'm kind of thirsty. Me too. We could really use something.
Yeah. Oh,
Thanks, Yankee Doodle Dan.
That's better.
Finishing up the 7th inning stretch here at Sal Magley Stadium. It's now a 4-4 ball game. Ironbacks tie it up with the trio of walks followed by the sac fly. But we want to remind you fans that the Niagara Falls Americans would love to partner with your business. The Americans have lots of options to make your presence known in your community. Please visit their website at NiagaraFallsAmericans.com to get involved. And go Americans! Can get your sponsor read on this broadcast as well. That's exciting stuff. But we begin the bottom of the 7th inning as due up for the Americans would be the top of the order, Ian Huang, Dalton Harper, and Graydon Miller. Barring any pinch hitters, but Huang lined up to hit here. He's starting to take some warm-up swings as we have a new pitcher for the Niagara Ironbacks after 6 innings of Jaden Corpin. Alexander will come in out of the pen. That's Brad Alexander, the rare American on this team. One of 2 Americans. He's a Connecticut native. And by that I mean American resident, not Niagara Falls American. Plays for St. Michael's College, had 8 relief appearances there, a 7 ERA, and 3 strikeouts. So he gets ready to face the switch hitter, Ian Huang, who's going from the left side to face the righty, and takes ball 1 outside. Huang 4 for 5 in his first game with the Americans, but 0 for 3 tonight. So not the same success. Takes ball 2 outside. I mean, nonetheless, his batting average still at .500, which is very impressive, but looks for his first hit of the night to get that up further. That's in for the strike. So a 2-1 count as we have a friend in front of the camera for a second there, a bug flying in our view. But that one fouled off to even up the count. Screaming noises over the loudspeakers here at Sal Magley. As the 2-2 about to come from Alexander. Outside for ball 3. Brad Alexander has not quite had the same command of the plate thus far that Jaden Corpin did. So Alexander just the second pitcher here for the Ironbacks. And he'll walk Huang to get him on base for the first time tonight. So Ian Huang walking on 6 pitches. But notable that these 2 teams will play again tomorrow, and quite frankly, the Ironbacks bullpen is looking a lot more rested. So that could impact tomorrow's game, even if the Americans come out with the win. Now shows bunt down the third base line. They'll call it foul. Runners will have to go back. Dalton Harper with a nice effort there, but unfortunate bounce sends it foul. And Grant Moore running on to give Dalton Harper his bat. Graydon Miller due up after this. He is in the on-deck circle. Harper will take a timeout to meet with Coach Paul Wolf.
Reminder that we do have fireworks at the conclusion of tonight's game, so please stick around to enjoy the fireworks sponsored by Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino.
And as you may hear over the public address speaker in the background here, post-game fireworks here at Sal Magley. I mean, if you're not at the game yet, still time to pull up to Sal Magley, get a ticket, and watch some fireworks. And Alexander will try the runner at first. He's safe. Those fireworks sponsored by the official casino of the Niagara Falls Americans, Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino. 0-1 pitch. Harper will bunt again, and this one will be the out at first, but advance the runner. So Harper does his job and gets Huang into second base on the sacrifice. So the sac bunt for Dalton Harper as Graydon Miller comes up for the 4th time tonight. Just like Dalton Harper, a second-year player for these Americans, is 1 for 3 on the night. Looking for his second hit to advance Hwang. Fouled off down the first baseline, but as Dalton Harper showed, I mean, even if Miller is unable to get a hit, still different ways to advance Ian Hwang. Just don't strike out. And Hwang has a lead on second. We'll see if Alexander checks back. Yes, he does. Before he delivers. And that is swung and missed on for strike 2. So Miller in an 0-2 hole against the reliever Alexander, who is facing just his 3rd batter of the game. He's thrown just a handful of pitches so far. That one low and away for the ball. Hwang hurrying back to second base. 1 down, runner on second. Hwang has a lead once again, right behind the first base umpire, who's standing between second and third. Strike 3 called. And Graydon Miller goes down looking. So now 2 down for Shane Prey as Brad Alexander strikes out his first batter. So now 2 down and the runner on second. Representing the go-ahead run is Ian Hwang. Ball 1 taken outside by Shane Prey. He's 1 for 2 on the night, singled, walked. Was retired to end the 5th inning. Prey takes it low for another ball. So the 2-0 count on him. And really, that's strike 3, really representing the only pitcher-friendly count that Alexander has seen tonight. For the most part, at least. Grounded down the third base line, closer to shortstop. And that will be not in time. Runner gets to first, and it's runners on the corners on the infield single by Shane Prey. Throw from Shin to the first baseman. Brock Granger just not in time here. And here comes Paul Delanto to keep this inning going, hopefully score the go-ahead run. Ian Hwang into third base as Shane Prey gets his second hit of the night and the season. Delanto ducking, ball 1 inside. Steps back into the batter's box. Up standing to the left of the catcher, Gatens. That one a chopper towards Shin. Will this be in time? No, it won't. 2 consecutive infield singles. Run will score. Americans up 5-4. Ian Hwang coming in to score 2 consecutive infield singles has Shane Prey and Paul Delanto on first and second for Grant Moore coming up for the 4th time tonight. He's 2 for 3. He has been arguably the hottest hitter for these Americans over the course of these 2 games. 4 total hits across 2 games. It's been consistent as well. Ball 1 outside. On the contrary, Ian Hwang's hits all coming last night, but he did score after the walk to lead off this inning. A productive walk. Grant Moore drives that down into right field for the base hit. Coming around to score is Shane Prey. Will it be in time? Yes, it will. And hands in the air by Connor Gatens. He is in shock that Shane Prey was ruled safe, but and Richard Griffin getting hot. He's arguing with the umpire here. We'll see if this run stands to make it 6-4 Americans. Richard Griffin will finally head back to the dugout. So it's been a 2-run inning here for the Americans. 2 consecutive RBI singles. The first of them was an infield single by Paul Delanto. Carter Shin just not able to get the throws to first base in time on 2 consecutive infield singles. Shane Prey, Paul Delanto, the second one going for an RBI, and now a Classic single by Grant Moore for the second RBI. And here's Evan Core. Takes ball 2, low and away. Evan Core on the night is 1 for 2. Had the RBI earlier tonight. Drives that to the third baseman, and recording the out at third is Jack Sarkuri to retire the side. So the fielder's choice will end off the 7th inning. We'll be right back after these messages.
My fellow American fans, my name is Frankie Morris, your social media manager. You can join us all summer long with many promotional nights and tickets just as low as $10. You can call and get tickets at 716-215-6161 and take a crack at the action.
We welcome you back to this 8th inning, sponsored by Seneca Niagara Resort and Casino, the official casino of the Americans. More winning, more comfort, more entertainment. Go to SenecaNiagaraCasino.com for more. And they are a proud sponsor of tonight's fireworks. Happy to have them partnered with us to get that fireworks show going. And Robert Leach, known for multi-inning outings over at St. John Fisher, will keep it going. As in this top of the 8th, Alex Keene, or rather, Brock Granger will start us off. So Granger is 1 for 3, or rather 0 for 2 on the night. He walked to get on base. Fouls that one off for the strike. So the Americans had a pair of infield singles. Shortstop Carter Shing cannot get it to first base in time on those. Drove in a run on that, and then a proper single by Moore to drive in a second run. Now the ground ball, Hwang to Miller to retire the first batter here in Brock Granger. And Connor Gatens, the catcher, will be up next. Gatens is 1 for 3 tonight, doubled in the 4th inning for his only hit. Takes the strike on the outside edge. Leach delivers the 0-1. Swing and a miss. And down 2 strikes already is Connor Gatens. Came into this night with a perfect batting average. Now down to 600. I mean, that's still a great one, but with a 1-2 count on him here, could lower it further. The pitch, swing and a miss. And in just 4 pitches, Robert Leach able to retire Connor Gatens for his second strikeout of the night. He's off to a great start for his Americans career. And it was a little bit of a change of plans. He was possibly going to start one of the games this weekend, but they'll bring him in for the final few innings potentially here in this game, as Marcus Butts will take ball 1. Butts has singled twice tonight, reached on the error. It's had quite a night for himself. Chopper to Prey. Will that be in time? Just in time! And Shane Prey finishes off the inning. Ironbacks go down 1-2-3 as Prey's defense has made a 180. We'll be right back. Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Magley Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field. Back for the bottom of the 8th inning. We've got a little race with people balancing bats on balls, or balls on bats rather, down on the field. But we're here for the bottom of the 8th inning of action, and the Americans just retired the Ironbacks 1-2-3 as Shane Prey threw an absolute rocket to first base to retire Marcus Butts for the first time tonight. It'll still be Alexander pitching, and he'll pitch to Gazaldo, Hollins, and Huang. But before we start the action here, we'd like to thank everyone for coming out to the park tonight. Remember that an Americans game is a great way to bring your group together, whether it's a school, church, business, or youth sports organization. The Americans are also able to offer great options and even picnics for your organization or business. Reserve your group online at NiagaraFallsAmericans.com. We've got one up the middle for a base hit. Just in time for me to finish that announcement. But Chris Gazaldo is on base to start the 8th inning. And that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Jake Hollins, with Gazaldo on base for the second time tonight after the RBI single in the 2nd inning. Gazaldo has batted close to 500. Hollins, that one near the pitcher. A shallowly hit one. Makes it 1st and 2nd. Hollins gets to 1st in time for the dribbling single. And it's 1st and 2nd as Brad Alexander could be in some trouble here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Ian Huang, the top of the order here for the Americans, back up. He walked to start off the 7th inning. Also had 4 hits in the first game. We'll see if he can get on base with a hit, with his first hit of the night right here. But we'll talk with Coach Wolf as there's a meeting on the mound. Richard Griffin talking to Brad Alexander, his infield, his catcher Connor Gatens. And everyone making their way back to their positions here as Alexander, for the time being, will continue pitching. Infield, as it has been all night from left to right for the Ironbacks, are Curry, Shin, and then Devin Medor and Brock Granger at first. Gatens still behind the dish. Alexander still into pitch. And here comes Ian Huang. Jake Hollins just singled. Back to the top of the order. He shows bunt. heads right down to first base. He's going to be in time. His speed showing as he has a bunt single to load the bases. And the Americans looking to build on their 2-run lead.
Now batting the catcher, number 18, Dalton Harper.
So the bunt single by Huang. And here's Harper with the bases loaded, taking ball 1 low. Harper looking to get on base for the first time tonight. Had the sacrifice his last time up. Pretty fitting seeing all these bunts in this inning, but unlikely Harper will bunt here, as that would bring it too close to home with the runner on third. Harper, that one catches the inside corner, low in the strike zone for strike 1. Excuse me, it's a 1-2 count, getting a correction on the scoreboard, lined right into the glove of our third baseman for the Ironbacks, Jacksar Curry. And it's bases loaded, but now 1 down after that rocket right into the glove of our Curry. Here comes Graydon Miller. He'll have his own chance to drive in some runs with the bases loaded. Now 1 down. Miller fouls it off for strike 1. The infield is in, at least our first baseman and third baseman, Granger and our Curry. They want to prevent those runners from scoring, prevent this game from getting out of hand for the Ironbacks. 13 hits for the Americans tonight. Strike 1 catches the outside edge of the strike zone, goes right over the edge to the left batter's box. And Alexander readies for the 0-2 pitch to Graydon Miller. A strikeout here would be huge. With the bases loaded, 1 down, it's what you need. But Miller will keep the at-bat alive with the foul ball down the third base line. Paul Wolf having to watch out as he serves as third base coach here tonight. And pitch coming from Alexander with the 0-2 count. This one way into right field, foul. Graydon Miller, second-year vet for the Americans, up for the 5th time tonight. He's 1 for 4 tonight, was 1 for 4 in his first game. Looking to improve upon his .250 batting average. Takes a ball low and away. So what was once an 0-2 count has now taken at least 4 more pitches for Alexander to finish this at bat, but it's still going right now. This would be the 4th pitch since the 0-2 count. Grounder to the third baseman, bubbled, and he gets the out at third, but the run scores. Our Curry tagging out the runner at third, which would be Jay Collins, but Gazaldo gonna score as Miller reaches first base on the fielder's choice. So the RBI coming in. But the out at third, runners on first and second for Shane Prey. Prey has reached 3 times tonight. As ball 1, they'll try for the pickoff, but no success. And it's now 7-4 Americans after the run scoring on the fielder's choice. The 1-0. Right down the pike, but a little high for the ball. Shane Prey stepping back into the batter's box. Hitter-friendly count, but 2 down with 2 ducks on the pond. He's singled twice. He's also walked. That one, another rocket. And will he come down with it? The second baseman, the diving catch. Devin Medor wraps up this 8th inning. We'll be right back. Ever dreamed of playing catch right here at Sal Maglie Stadium? Well, join us June 22nd for a post-game catch on the field. We bring you back early for a call to the bullpen, and with a little more insurance coming from the Niagara Falls Americans bats, they'll bring in a new pitcher. It's Hudson Boring. They'll save Leach as he just goes 2 innings in this game. And due up for the Ironbacks in this top of the 9th inning are Callie, Medor, and our Curry. This 9th inning is sponsored by Casella, Salino Plumbing, Blaze Brockway Contracting, and Ripe Beverages. Stop by the beer garden down the third base line for Ripe Beverages beers and other alcoholic beverages. We like to thank Ripe Beverages for providing us with our basically entire beer garden down the third base line. And shout out Emma Crocker, our assistant operations manager, works the beer garden on game nights. And the Americans sent the Ironbacks down 1-2-3 in the 8th inning. Granger, Gatens, and Butts. Now it'll be the 6, 7, 8 in this Ironbacks lineup, Callie, Medor, and our Curry. But Callie will be pinch hit for. Coming in for the Niagara Ironbacks will be Andrew Bishop. Bishop played first base last night. Strike 1 on the outside edge. So the pinch hitter drives that one down to right field for the base hit. That ground ball goes all the way into right field, and we've got a runner on. A single by usually a first baseman here for these Ironbacks. Came in as the pinch hitter. It's his first hit of his Ironbacks career. He did get on base last night, but this was his first hit. And here comes Devin Medor, the second baseman, who has been excellent on defense tonight. He's had a couple of rocketing line drives. One right into his glove, one he dove for. We'll see if that translates here with one on and nobody out. A low ball, one outside. As Hudson Boren faces his second batter. The Americans will try to finish this one in 8.5. Outside ball 2. And you won't want to miss our next game here on the Americans Baseball Network. The Americans will face the Ironbacks again here tomorrow at 4 p.m. That one will be at George Taylor Field. Pop up, heads into foul territory. Miller comes under it to make the catch. So the pop fly in foul territory to the first baseman Miller to retire the first batter of this inning. But Andrew Bishop remains on first after the leadoff single. And Jaxar Curry, the third baseman, comes up to face the reliever Boring. Strike 1 on Jaxar Curry. Little low, but down the middle. So 1 strike on him. The 0-1 pitch fouled off. Now in an 0-2 hole. As the home plate umpire signals that 0-2 count with 1 down. And the runner Bishop still on first. He has a slight lead. Pitch in the outside corner. No, they'll call it strike 3. So down goes Jack Sarkuri looking as strike 3 catches the outside corner of the zone. First strikeout of the season, first strikeout of the night for Hudson Boring, who makes his Americans debut to close out this game. Swing and a miss by Hubble for strike 1. And if the score holds as it is, it'll be the second consecutive save by an Americans reliever, the second consecutive 3-run victory, and a 2-0 start for the team headed into George Taylor Field tomorrow. Another swing and miss, and Hudson Boring is one strike away from everything I just mentioned. As I mentioned earlier, Ironbacks and Americans at George Taylor tomorrow. Ball 1 a little bit high as this at-bat stays alive with Chase Hubble up to face Boring for the first time tonight. Check swing. Will go in for a ball. 2's across the board now. Balls, strikes, and outs. Runner on first is Bishop. No lead yet, but starts to get one. As the 2-2 pitch coming from Hudson Boring. Fouled off. Behind him, some kids screaming. Hopefully that didn't hit anybody. Screams at the top of lungs in the stands. I don't know if you guys can hear it on the broadcast, but now they're just screaming for the sake of it. Yeah! And got him for strike 3. That's the ball game. Americans win 7-4. Hudson Boring, 2 strikeouts in the top of the 9th to finish this off. And the Americans will be back in action tomorrow. They go to 2-0, and they'll hope to go to 3-0 at George Taylor Field tomorrow. It's the Americans at the Ironbacks at 4 p.m. I'll be on the call there. And we'll have some post-game fireworks here at the stadium. But for the broadcast, that is going to do it. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in tonight. I've been your play-by-play broadcaster, Andrew Roberts. And the Niagara Falls Americans go to 2-0. The final score, Americans 7, and the Ironbacks 4.